master of real estate development. Can I say that? Mr. Fabian Tarango, real estate agent, featured Realtor, HGTV, House Hunters. Thank you, Fabian, for being here. We're going to pass it off to you. Here you go.
Hi guys, thank you for that introduction. How is everyone today? So our panelists, they're all stacked. They're all masters at fix and flips. I'm here more to talk about development today. How many of you have teenagers? All right, so if you can raise a teenager, you can build a house. Because that's kind of, I drop my daughter off, my 16-year-old daughter off at school, we argue about life. Then I get to the job site and we argue about timelines. So it's kind of, we're always arguing, right? But really I'm here just to break it down to you guys that it's all possible. We all need to start with fix and flip stuff. And I'm not going to get into detail with that because we got Rafael that's going to speak heavily on that. But really the question that I get is, how did I start? And it comes down to just not being afraid of leveling up. You get that project that you see on the MLS that, you know, it's a land transaction and you don't know where to begin. Well, the fix and flip experience is what's going to get you through those motions, but really the first part is building your brand. And the brand is so important because you got to sell yourself to these private money lenders. And they're going to want to see your track record, they're going to want to see your brand, and they want to know that are you capable of building a $900,000 envelope plus acquisition, right? You may be in $2 million all in. So most of you are beautiful, all of you are beautiful. And you're walking in, is your pretty face isn't going to get you that $2 million note. So you've got to know what you're doing. And really, even if you did get the $2 million note or whatever it costs to build a house, you want to know you're not going to mess it up. So the brand is the first part, what's backing your brand is going to be your experience. Then you got to find out where you're good. Where is it that you how many of you are real estate agents? All right, most of you. So then you're getting into the mind game of, do I eliminate traditional transactions to go develop or to do a fix and flip? And are you capable of swallowing your sales dropping? Because then it becomes an ego thing where you're like, oh shit, I used to close 50 transactions a year. Now I'm only doing 25 and I'm building this house that's taken 12 months to build. So it's a big mind game for most people, including myself. But once you get past all of that, you've done a few fix and flips, you know how to create the budget for a project, then you pencil it all in, and again, going back to where is it that you're good at? Are we going to be the developer that is going to take the project from land to permit ready? Or are we going to be the developer that's going to take it from shovel ready to completion? Now you can be all of that, but time is money in our world, right? So there's very few developers, which some of you are in this room, that can actually take it from raw land to development phase. And when I was doing fix and flips, which I still do, and I would try to sell these projects that were land value, it would overwhelm me. And I'm sure a lot of you see these opportunities and you're like, shit, where do I even begin? Well, again, we don't need to know it all. We just need to know where we're good at. So if you're good at waiting around and fighting the city of Denver, then that's where you're good at. I'm not good at that. There is people in this room that are very good at that. But really is the development part is where I'm good at, and that's what's given me that success in the development world is I have more control on the construction phase than I do dealing with the first phase, the initial phase of getting a project to completion. So why I'm sharing this is I know a lot of you have brought deals to me and you don't even know where to begin, or you may throw it at me and say, hey, this is a deal. But we have to break it down into 2 phases. Now again, you can run it all down to completion, but that takes a lot of time and a lot of knowledge. I don't know it all, guys. I don't. I've been developing since 2019, I think. It was our first project, but I've been doing fix and flips since 2016. But that's what always discouraged me, is where do I begin? I was overwhelmed. So knowing where you're good at is really where you need to, plug yourself in. And that's where the fix and flip is a big factor, because that team that you have created with your fix and flips is what's going to drive you in the direction that you're good at. There's people that will take on a development phase that I have seen, and they've never done a fix and flip. First thing they do is they blow the budget day one, right? Because they don't know where to begin. But going back to the budgeting and the fix and flip phase is what's very important to you guys. Well, important to all of us, because that's what's going to create that experience going in. Because these budgets, you're going from a $50,000 construction budget on a fix and flip to now a $900,000 budget, which these private money lenders are going to want to see the process, and you have to back that up. So you break ground day one, all right, clock starts ticking at that point, you're 9 months to completion. So that's another part that would overwhelm me, because I represent developers. So I'm like, how do you carry this for 9 months and you're not even breaking a sweat? Well, you have to be structured, right? So let's go back to the brand. The brand is very important, yes, to get the financing with the hard money, with the private lenders, but it's also to build capital. Friends, family, college roommates, just maybe another developer that doesn't have the time to project manage a deal, and that's where you come in. But how do we sell it to them? And that's where you can break up the budget sheet and say, all right, it's going to cost $900,000 to build a 4,200 square foot house in West Highlands. And you breaking that down to an investor that you are trying to raise money from is going to go a long way. Obviously, we got to sell ourselves. So once you get the money in place, then you're ready. Now what do we do, right? So we go back to, are we going to do phase 1 or are we going to do phase 2? I don't think, and I could be wrong, going into your first development project, taking it from raw land to completion, I don't know if that's smart to do, because it's going to be a long period of time. It's going to take probably 6 months at minimum to get a project to even get approved and to get it shovel ready. Then we have to look at, do we need a break? Do we need to tear down an existing structure? That takes time and money. So let's just fast forward, and let's just all agree that we're going to do phase 2. We're going to develop it. So then we go after a development project that's shovel ready. What does that entail? So all of you real estate agents that are out shopping, looking for deals, and that want to level up and do a new construction, look at what's on the MLS or reach out to off-market stuff that has the plans attached to the project. Shovel ready, meaning that it's Denver or whatever county you're building in has approved the project. You're ready to go. You can break ground the day that you buy the project. So you need to look at that. Then we have the money in place. We're ready to go. Now we need to learn how to read plans, which that probably goes with your experience with fix and flips. I'm sure a lot of you have plans on projects where you're reconfiguring the layout, and that's going to probably give you some idea of how to look at these plans. But with the plans, with the new construction, I have recently made a mistake where you underestimate the project itself and you start to learn as you go, which again, I don't have any type of secret sauce to share with you guys today besides my, really just telling you guys that keep going. Experience is what's key, because when you look at these plans, you need to know how to analyze that, and that's another part that would overwhelm you. I would see plans from my developer clients when they would say, I'm sending you the plans so that you can upload onto the MLS. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 16 pages of a bunch of black and white scribbles, really. But as a developer, you need to understand that. So really those are the two biggest parts, is learning how to build, how to raise capital, and two is how to read the plans, because that's what's gonna help you create the budget. And ultimately, that's what's gonna keep you safe, right? And that's really where it's not much different than doing a fix and flip. It just takes a lot more time. So if we can swallow the time and where we're good at, and what's gonna get us to that finish line, which is probably gonna be 6 to 9 months, then you're ready to level up at that point and take on a new construction. You have your team to back it from your fix and flip projects now, because you have a team to help you with that. So you're just going, it's a big transition, but you're going to be successful doing it. So I encourage you all to really just maybe even schedule a time with me one-on-one to just look at plans and just get an understanding of what soils reports are and what they're telling you. Because the soils report is going to tell you a lot. I have a project right now in West Highlands that I keep getting water coming through one of my crawl spaces. We couldn't figure it out for 4 weeks. Why? Well, then I read the soil report and said, hey, your water table is really high. You should probably do an additional sump pump. Oh, okay. That took us 4 weeks to figure out. Now we're behind. We're backed up 2 months. Everybody's freaking out. I'm freaking out because I have nightmares that the house is going to fall apart. So all of that is very, very important. And that's where I'm here, and I would love to be a resource to all of you on just learning, me teaching you what I learned through the motions. And yes, I have mentors. One of my mentors is here in this room today, and it's not that he didn't teach me how to do it. He just probably said, this guy's crazier than shit, and he's gonna do it anyway. So, but at the end of the day, we all learn. And you're always gonna learn through a project, even with your fix and flips. But at the end of the day, what a fix and flip and a new development have in common is that we all need to let the project tell its story. The numbers tell the story, sorry. Because that's what's important. We may fall in love with the project, we may want bragging rights to build in Sloan's Lake, but if the numbers don't make sense, don't do it. Do not do it. There's so many deals out there right now on the MLS that financially don't make sense. And that's because it's a listing agent selling a project that has never built a house in their life, and they don't even know where to begin with the project. And they may just run numbers and say, hey, it's $250 a square foot times 5,000. Oh yes, this makes sense. But that's not really how it goes. So there's a lot that we have to look. There's just more due diligence on the development side, as opposed to the fix and flip. So fix and flips still very critical, needs your full attention. But the development, what I'm here to say is that it's not impossible. If I could do it, you can do it. And really, it's just a matter of just wanting to level up and using your flip experience. And that's something I do encourage all of you to do. Is I'm not going to set my limitations on anyone, but it is difficult. I do see it difficult going from fix and flips to a development phase, because it is a bigger animal and there's a lot more moving parts. I went from having 3 guys on the job site on a fix and flip to having 15 guys on the job site on a new construction, plus the city of Denver, they're threatening to shut us down because they don't know what they're doing and they think we don't know what we're doing. So that's where, at the end of the day, that's really the big difference, but it's all doable. And there's not enough time here, but really it's one-on-one sessions is what I'm happy to run it all by you guys and show you what I've been through the trial and error, what my mentors have been through the trial and error. That way we can all succeed at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, building houses is not impossible, guys. So I'm sure you guys all have questions, and I'm sure that'll come up with the Q&A, but thank you for your time.